Hey, this is Miss Harrison for part 2 of your diffusion lab for Unit 3. Alright, so yesterday we made our agar, we mixed it, and then we poured it into our plastic container, and we let it solidify for at least 12 hours, preferably a day. And then part A says cover your work area with paper towels. With the diagram as a guide, measure and cut out the necessary lines in the agar block using the metric ruler and scalpel. And that's what we're going to do. And it says to run that scalpel in step 3 around the outside of the agar to loosen it from the tray. Turn the tray upside down and tap on the bottom and carefully remove the smaller blocks. Okay? So, I'm going to try it how it says to do. I'm going to start with the big blocks. It says to do 2.5 by 2.5 blocks. That means centimeters. That's the side of your ruler that goes 1 through 30. It says cm on it. So I'm going to start at one of the edges and go to the 2.5 mark. And I'm going to mark that with my scalpel. I'm going to put it through the gel. And then I'm going to go from another corner and go 2.5 and mark that with my scalpel. So what I want to do is I want to make those marks meet each other. I want to attempt to get a cube. Okay? And then it says to make another one that same size. Okay, so I need to measure 2.5 centimeters from my last cut over another 2.5. Okay, and once I've made that mark, I can continue that 2.5 up so that now I've got 2 cubes so far. And I don't know if you can see my handiwork there, but so far that's what I've got. And then it says I need 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter. So I'm going to use the same concept, and I'm going to make more squares. I'm going to mark 2 centimeters in from the side, and then I'm going to mark 2 centimeters up from my last cut. And I'm going to make those 2 lines meet, and that should give me a 2 centimeter square on top of the others. Okay, then I'm going to measure 2 centimeters over from that last square, make another mark, and it's hard to get it straight, but we're going to get it as close to straight as we can. And 2 2-centimeter blocks and 2 2.5 centimeter blocks. Last one. I want to make these 1 centimeter each. Okay. And I want to measure out from the side and up from the last row of blocks, and I want to make those lines meet each other. And then I want to make another one, so measure 1 centimeter out from that last cube you made, and now you should have something that looks sort of like this. Okay, and then it says to run the scalpel around the outside to loosen it from the tray, and be careful that you don't cut yourself with this. It's kind of like with Jello, but do not eat this stuff. Phenolphthalein is dangerous. And it says to turn it over and tap it. Carefully remove the 6 blocks. Okay. So I've tapped it out, and I'm gonna try to turn it over so that I can see the lines on my blocks. Alright, so I've got my two large blocks out, got two small, okay, and I've got two more large, okay, and then I've got some extra. Make sure you have gloves on for this part of the lab. Don't touch directly on this phenolphthalein. Alright, so now I've got some cubes. Let me read. Trim the blocks to the following sizes: length times width times height. Alright, I did notice that and your bottom of your mold was pretty smooth, so the cut sides are kind of rough. So I'm going to find those sides that look uneven. I'm going to make these blocks measure up how they're supposed to be. Okay, so 2 centimeters, 2 centimeters, 2 centimeters, okay, and make sure my big ones are 2.5. And it looks like they may be a little shallow of a cube on those, but that's because the tray was slightly shallow of a cube. Now the 1 centimeter, it looks like it's about 2 centimeters deep. So it looks like I need to cut those in half. So I'm going to try that with one and then measure. Okay, maybe a little more than 2 centimeters because one of them. Okay, make sure that I have 2 1 centimeter blocks. And I'm going to make this other one 1 centimeter because it's a little darker pink. And I'll throw my excess back into my tray that I was using. Alright, so now I've got 2 big blocks, 2 medium blocks, 2 small blocks. And your directions on number 5 say divide the agar cubes into 2 groups, group 1 and group 2, each group having 1 of each size. Okay, so I'm going to put 1 of each size in a different area, and it said to do yours on paper towel. I just have paper plates going. Okay, so now I've got 2 plates with 1 of each type of cube on each plate. Once you've done that, record your observations of what the cubes look like in your lab report. Well, okay. On number 2 in your lab report, record your observations of how the agar cubes look before you add the vinegar and then after you add the vinegar. So make sure that you write down what they look like before on number 2. And then number 7 and number 8, we're going to skip for now. Miss Simmons is going to go over with you how to do those in the video that we're going to do about how to do the worksheet. We're going to go to number 9 on your instructions. Place all 3 group 1 cubes into the 12-ounce cup. Okay. Done. And pour the vinegar into the cup until it covers the cube. Notice how much vinegar you have. It only came with about half of a container from K-12. Okay. So I want to pour no more than half of that. So I'm going to go ahead and mark with my finger where half is before I start pouring. And I want to make sure to not use any more than half of what I've been given, because we'll have a part B. Okay. Record the start time in the data table. Alright, I've got mine. I'm going to write that down. And then use the spoon to stir the cubes gently for 5 minutes and record the end time. Alright, so I'm going to stir and I'll start the next video at the end of 5 minutes.